Water woes continue in Asheville tonight. As of today, the city says all service has been restored to the southern area. You can see a map on your screen. Pink shaded areas are locations where water restoration is complete or in progress. Those areas with blue lines still have interrupted service. The city says stabilization in the south should help areas see restoration in other places. And many residents still are not seeing a drop of water. News 13's Taylor Thompson tells us how those outside of city limits are managing.
Another day without water. Residents in the Candler community say they're now going on day 7 with no answers. Justin and Amber have lived in the mobile home park out in Candler for years. They say they've never experienced an outage to last this long.
We can't wash our kids' clothes. We're having to haul water in for our neighbors.
They lost water last Monday. Justin says they've called the city every day and been promised that crews are coming out.
Call this morning. We have no reports of y'all being out of water, and we don't even know that you're out of water. So it's frustrating.
Justin says there are many others in the same boat. That has led to groups coming together to provide what they say the city is not, with water distribution sites set up in Candler since Friday.
We just decided to come out and make sure people got what they needed because the city's communication has been so poor, and we just are trying to meet people where they're at.
A lot of questions still in need of answers.
I would just like to know why communication was not given early enough for people to be able to plan.
Clearly a lot has gone wrong, and this is a major disaster, and we're not sure why there aren't more hands on the ground.
For Justin and his family, he says the city's response has left them feeling stranded. What are some questions that y'all want addressed?
They just keep telling us we're on the list, and then 3 days later that they don't even know about it. So if they could just acknowledge that we're still a whole trailer park or a whole community without water, it would be nice.
And while the city of Asheville continues to send out updates about restoration within the city, those outside of city limits are still left waiting for their turn. In Candler, Taylor Thompson, News 13.
City of Asheville officials say there is still no exact time frame for when water will be restored in the western region. They advise people in the area to be prepared to use bottled water for the next several days. If you need water, you can call the number on your screen, 828-251-1122. The line is open for calls between 9 in the morning and 5 in the evening. A response team will deliver you as much water as you need. City of Asheville officials will hold a news conference tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock. You can watch it on WLOS.com, and you can keep up with all the latest developments as we learn more about service restoration on News 13, our website, and by following our social media pages. For most who live in the area, the water woes of the past week have come to an end, but not for everyone. In some areas, according to News 13's Charles Perez, not only is the water not back on, but there's no word on when it will be.
It's been more than a week now, and for folks like these here in Candler, it just seems like it's never going to end.
We'd really like our water turned back on, for sure.
Liz Duncan, her husband, 3 kids, and 2 cats have now survived 7 days without water.
Dishes and laundry with 5 people in a house. It's a lot of water that we need.
And she's not alone. From Candler to Fairview, there are multiple pockets of homes yet to see water restored.
We're still without any water at all, over a week now.
Kyle Bailey lives in Fairview in this home with his wife and 2 dogs, water bottles, lid off the toilet, and a sink that's still running dry. He's tried calling the city.
They were like, oh, all of Fairview is fine. You should be fine. Like, well, we're not.
Thank you for calling the City of Asheville's Customer Services Division.
We also called the city, the mayor, and the communication office and received this recording.
The water supply is free from contaminants.
We did, however, receive this statement saying, quote, "It is important to remember that variables such as pressures in different lines within the system and elevation of homes and businesses will result in not all customers seeing full service restored at this time." Eric Smith lives in Candler.
I think my main concern at this point is that we haven't been given a lot of answers. We've been told 2 to 3 days initially, and then at this point we've been told we don't know when the water will be restored.
Though many areas have had water restored, parts of Fairview, West Asheville, and Candler have yet to see water. For many of them, the frustration has come with unanswered calls and unanswered questions.
We would like to have a little bit more information from the officials that are making decisions.
And if the only reason really is just water pressure, Eric's hoping everyone will pitch in.
Then the main thing I would ask is that people upstream, closer to city proper, truly conserve their water, so that water makes its way downstream to us.
Now, everyone we spoke with had the same basic request. They just want the city to be straight up with them. That way, regardless of how many days it is, at least they can plan.
Big respiratory illnesses known as the Tripledemic are sending more and more patients to the hospital. News 13's Rex Hodge reports that's filling them up quickly, putting many into diversion status.
Haywood County's medical directors say the combination of COVID, RSV, and flu is putting a strain on capacity limits at many mountain hospitals, some of them on temporary diversion status.
Diversion really reflects the inpatient capacity of the hospital.
Dr. Mark Jabin says it's not unusual for hospitals, especially in the winter, to go on and off diversion.
If a hospital's on diversion, what they're saying is we don't have the capacity to take another admission. Doesn't matter what county you're from. And then there'll be an attempt to find a place where you can be admitted, a place that has the capacity to take care of you.
That could mean a long EMS transfer.
You're talking about going some distance.
Or a long wait in the ER.
You may be held there for quite some time before there's a space that clears upstairs.
Diversion doesn't mean you can't go to the hospital. For anything serious and time sensitive, you'll be addressed. For lesser ailments,
people are stretched, and it's going to take some time. Haywood, Harris, Mission, everyone is on diversion.
A spokesperson for Duke LifePoint Hospitals in Haywood and Jackson County says, when capacity cannot be internally managed, a hospital may go into temporary diversion status and will notify local EMS that it is temporarily at capacity and cannot admit new patients outside of the area and provide appropriate care for said patient. In the event we do not have the capacity to admit a patient, we will complete an appropriate transfer in accordance with Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act requirements. Hospital capacity is incredibly fluid and changes rapidly, but we have adequate resources and staff at this time. Dr. Jabin says Haywood Regional Medical Center is seeing an uptick in COVID cases.
They're up to almost 20. I think they're at 16 or 18 at the end of last week.
Something not unusual to see in wintertime, he says, and with holiday gatherings. He advises heightened awareness being inside in crowded places.
If you get sick, stay away from folks. If you have to be around folks, wear a mask.
Health leaders say if you are experiencing a medical emergency, don't delay. Call 911 or get to your closest emergency room.